Yo, just a quick little mic check. Look, man, hopefully you guys are having a good middle of the week. Hopefully you guys having a good Wednesday, man. Keep it pretty short. Um, One of the beautiful things that I like about women boxing, it might just be me, but women boxing for me is pure, right? Like the women actually fight for a purpose, not just securing the bag. Like they're fighting for a higher power, so to speak. There's more intent. They take more risks. They're a little much more active. Like they have to get straight to the point because it's only like 2 rounds lesser than the men. They're 1 minute shorter, the rounds, right? And they just throw and throw and throw. Like they're fighting for a purpose, right? They're fighting for respect. When I look at women boxing, there's much more one face to one division, much more championship undisputed fights. I know the talent pool is smaller in size, right? There's less competition. Basically, a woman, let's say Clarissa Shields, she can be a heavyweight champion, a middleweight champion, and even like a welterweight champion and be undisputed in all three weight classes. But there's solidarity, there's communion, right? Each woman wants higher pay. They want equality. And that's why I mean that they fight for a bigger and a higher purpose, right? When I look at fighters like Amanda Serrano, right? Not only do I see her. Wait. Before I mention Amanda Serrano, I wasn't a huge fan of women boxing starting off. I would see it. I would see like Marlon Esparza, right? And all these other girls on the undercards. Sometimes they would fight on Friday or Thursday, but I would pay no mind to it. Then all of a sudden, when Amanda Serrano fought Katie Taylor, which could have been a pay-per-view fight, it all changed for me. I started becoming more in tune and started paying attention to the women fighters, and I started paying attention. And I liked, like what I said earlier, the solidarity that they have with one another, right? It's more communal. Yo, what's going on, Drew? Mic check real quick, bruv.
Mic check, mic check. Coming from the iPhone 15. I'm
Yo,
just
what's
kidding.
good, man? How you liking your phone, bro?
Good, man. How's my audio? Good?
Audio sounds good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. I was that one time Germ called me out on my audio is because I had my personal phone, but I just didn't have enough time to explain that, And bro, I'm loving this phone. But yeah, good day, good day.
Yeah,
What's up,
yeah,
man?
for
How
sure.
you been?
Yeah, I've been good, man. Just trying to get ready for this Halloween party on Saturday.
Oh
Um,
man, you having one?
yeah, we had one. It's because Halloween lands on it lands on like a Tuesday of sometime next
Yeah.
week, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we just kind of having this, and we kind of did it sometime last year, but it was really cold. Um, but I thought people had a good time. We're gonna do it again this Saturday, but I really wanted to check out this local band at at Stony's, but I don't know if I'm gonna make it out there because they're gonna be playing on Saturday, and I've been always wanting to. I almost made them a music video,
Yeah,
but
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. But
Yeah.
we just haven't hooked up and stuff. I got a question to you, Drew. Do you see Amanda Serrano on this page, like
Yes,
on the screen share on your phone?
yeah, like everything on the I see like even the borderline like you're on your Apple computer.
Oh, okay, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm on the Apple computer. I got a question for you, man. Have you been a big fan of women's boxing, or is it just kind of like me when I stated that Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, that was really the mega fight that kind of like reeled me into boxing? Did you have the same thing, or had you been following these badass women way before then?
Um oh man, dude, this sounds like kind of bad, but I was kind of like looking at these chicks cuz they're getting more like attractive, and I was like, wow, they're like either like I want
Man,
to
I
see
gotta
her
cut you
match.
off a little bit just so I can understand what you mean by attractive. Like, are you talking about like, man, she looks attractive, like she fine, and like I want to follow her and date her,
Yeah,
or
like the
attractive,
word.
like in the sense that you're getting a buzz and a following?
I'm definitely getting the buzz. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
okay, okay, for sure, for
I'm just
sure. I
kidding.
got you. So they're
No,
becoming an attraction. Got you.
yeah, yeah, they're promoting themselves it's like in a sexual manner, you know. But
Oh, okay, got you,
but
got you.
I want to see. I guess what reels me in is I wanted to see if their looks match their skills, and some of them, like Ebony Bridges, does. Somebody like, I looked at Alicia
Wait, wait.
Baumgartner,
Ebony
like
Bridges.
Ebony Bridges. You don't know who I'm talking about? Yeah, her.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
got
yeah.
you. I know
And
who
then
she is. Lady.
Alicia Baumgartner, I never really was looking at her like, oh yeah, she's attractive. I was looking at her because she was a beast and how she got that knockout against Terry Harper, I believe. But I was like, damn, like I noticed her looks after I noticed that she was good at boxing, bro. I was like, wow, what a cherry on top, you know. But she's a beast, man. I just I guess I should stop sexualizing it and start seeing the boxing part because these chicks are becoming like beasts, bro. Like they're like Alicia Baumgartner is no one to play with, bro. You know, like she lands a good one on you, it's gonna sting, bro. Like honestly, like she's a beast, bro. And I'm even a bigger fan of I think I've said this before, but Amanda Serrano is like my favorite female boxer right now because she's like better than more than half of these dudes, bro. Like, you know, so she's a beast, bro. I'm a huge fan of her. But yeah, definitely I'm gonna have to go with that same fight. Taylor versus Serrano. You know, that one was like, right, like this one I'm pretty much sitting all 12 rounds in, you know. Yeah, just because I'm not trying to say that they're boring. It's just you already know who's gonna win. They're doing a good job of it,
Yeah,
and you know they don't go back and forth like these two chicks, Serrano and Taylor. But Taylor got her match, you know, after Amanda Serrano and Kate. What's her name?
yeah, like Cameron something, right?
Yeah, Cameron Chantel or something like that.
Yeah, Chantel
Um,
Cameron or some shit.
yeah, so. Um, you know, so like I even seen her and I was like, wow, she's pretty good too, and she's also like, you know, one of those attractive women in boxing, you know, and that's something that these chicks are starting to like garner, like they're starting to like really uh accept their looks, and they say, hey, we not only we can not only we can look good, but we're also really good fighters, you know. And I
I
think
got you. I got you.
they're starting to roar that at us. I think I heard one female boxer way back in the day, um, and she was out of my uncle's, or she was out of Vallejo Pell boxing gym. I forget her name, but she was really like a like heavier. You know, she wasn't trying like she wasn't going for the looks. You could tell she was a rugged. Like they're like back in the day, they used to be like those. They used to be tomboys, you know, and
Yeah,
they used to, and from my opinion, from my experience, you know, I never experienced like when I was a kid growing up seeing a attractive like you know female boxer, you know, but yeah, no, that's I think they're starting to promote themselves as such, you know, and they're smart by doing that because I mean, I'm not trying to say that's the only reason because you also have Amanda Serrano who's propelling the women's boxing but you also got to thank, you know, Jake Paul for that, you know. Um so yeah, they're definitely making uh a fucking they're making the they're making big noise, and I think it's just the beginning. I think there's gonna be a lot more girls starting to look at themselves and say, "Hey, I think I can come up with my looks," and they're gonna learn those. I feel like those chicks are gonna learn the hard way. You know, and they're just because matchmaking can only do so much, it's a lot different in the women's boxing game, bro. Like I feel like the upsets are more stunning. Like you don't see them coming, but they happen more in women's boxing than they do in men's. I feel
Right,
like
right.
I that's just my opinion. But yeah, yeah, you're always there's never too much of an underdog. I feel like in women's boxing, it's such a small number of female boxers. It's growing, but like as far as the elites, there's only a small group, and the rest of them are making okay money, but you know the elites, they're making good money too. But it's nowhere like the men's, but and this is what, and I'm not trying to compare them, but like the women's boxers and the women's boxing, that the boxers that are starting, like the startups, like the ones that are barely starting up, they're like grinding, bro. They're going through the struggle. Um, I think they all do, but I think right now, like Alicia Bumgarner, she's getting like, I don't know. What do you think? Like, is she a millionaire?
I don't know, but pretty close to it, you know.
Yeah, it's a hard call because I don't know I'm not familiar with their pay scale, so I don't know how women's boxers, especially a undisputed champ, I wouldn't know how much they get for each belt. So I'm hoping, man, she's a millionaire. I know Amanda Serrano needed that big mega fight against Katie Taylor, to actually become a millionaire. So, and I know Bumgarner hasn't fallen at that level yet, but so yeah, I'm guessing she's not a millionaire yet, but she deserves it, man. She brings in so much attention and to the sport, you know.
All right,
She's
so
one
let
of the
me focus
pillars.
on that real quick right
Go
there. So
ahead.
you were saying deserving, because they bring attention and they're getting recognition and they're taking
Alicia,
on
yeah.
big mega fights. Yeah, look. So that's kind of what one of the words that I want to focus on, right? Deserving, right? And when I look to your point, Amanda Serrano, she's also my favorite female fighter. And yes, she did beat Katie Taylor, and that fifth round should have been scored a 10-8. The way I look at it is like this, man. I don't know if you saw or heard earlier, but one of the things that I like about female boxing is that it's pure. There's some solidarity. They're fighting for a purpose, right? It's not, they're
Mhm.
fighting for equality. And if you look at this post right here in Amanda Serrano's Instagram, they cross out the women's boxing, right?
Mm,
Women's championship, just cross it out. Now they're doing 12 rounds in 3 minutes. And
mm,
when I asked you, the reference to Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano,
mhm.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never really been a big fan of women's boxing. To be honest with you, I've never really been a big fan in women fighting in general. And this started since I was a kid. I always looked at it from like a masculine standpoint, like it should be like the dudes fighting, right? And I remember in high school or even in middle school, when I would see chicks fighting, it'd be like a chick fight and hair's pulling out, maybe a titty be slipping out. And I didn't really like that. Like I wasn't one of those people
It's
like,
like,
oh, let me take out this phone and be like, world star.
yeah,
I
it's
didn't even
unattractive.
there was a time right in high school, I forgot who it was. I'm not gonna point out names. I don't remember what they were called, but these chicks were fighting by like this behind this little church, and even the moms were right there, and people were recording. And I was just telling one of my friends, like, "Hey, bro, let's go." Like this shit is hella ghetto. I didn't really like it. I was just like, you know. And going back to that nature, like, oh, it's a chick fight. It's hair pulling, it's slapping, it's scratching. I didn't respect it. I didn't really like it. And to your point, yeah, these fighters are getting the recognition. These women fighters are getting the recognition, and the pay isn't equal. But I think it comes down to what I was saying, and why I originally disliked it is because they fought like women. They slapped. There wasn't a lot of good technique. Going back to like Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, I do see technique. And Alicia Baumgartner, they do quote unquote punch like men. They punch with intelligence. They punch with setting traps. There's a good discipline behind them, right? In fact, Alicia Baumgartner, Amanda Serrano, and Katie Taylor, they're probably much more entertaining than these male fighters, to be honest with you. They go actually for gusto, right? There's pride, there's honor, and they know how to bang. It isn't just, oh, we're pretty, but we know how to fucking throw a proper fucking punch. And years past, Even if, when I watched the girl from East Los, I forgot her name, but I don't really like her herky jerky switching. She looks funny throwing punches. But when I see Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, Chantel Cameron, and some of these top tier girls, I do see good punching form. And Alicia Baumgartner. But one of the reasons, going back to deserving, is they're earning their respect. See, a lot of people, we're quote unquote taught that, oh, we're born with respect, but these women are earning their respect. And it's a little bit sad that they have to earn their respect in a male dominated form in boxing. But yeah, bro, like that's kind of how I looked at it. Once I was introduced to Serrano and Katie Taylor, then what followed suit was Alicia Baumgartner versus Michaela Mayer. And then we started getting very good fights, very good women fights. But yeah, bro, like I don't know if it's like a sexist point of view that I grew up on, but I was kind of like turned off by women fighting. Even when I see UFC, when I first saw like the beginning stages of UFC, and I was seeing like Frank Shamrock versus the Gracie brothers, or this one fighter that broke Frank Shamrock's shoulder, I was like, bro, this isn't boxing. This is fucking, poking of the eye socket, pulling
I
hair. When
think
I looked at UFC, I thought that shit
yeah,
was straight ghetto. And that's
yeah,
kind of how I looked at women fighting too. I was like, bro, like who watches this shit?
yeah, yeah. It's just yeah, the women's boxing is just different, bro. I think I needed to be a little older to really love, like to really enjoy it, really not lie to myself and say that, hey, this is, big things, I think it's finally starting to be appealing to the audience, and I
Yeah,
just, I think it's worth paying for, depending on who they fight. But this is the thing, like women's boxing, they're trying to make the big fights happen. I
yeah,
think they try harder, a lot harder than the men. They're not as prideful as them, but uh yeah, like I feel like a lot of management, it's probably in the way, and people being across the street, but they're mostly on the zone, right?
yeah. It just kind of
Yeah.
depends. Sometimes they're on the zone. Sometimes now they're a little more prevalent. You see them on ESPN. I don't
Yeah.
really see PBC really promote that much. Hell, I don't even see PBC really even sing the national anthem or have the ring girls there. But
I Yeah, that's a good
going
point.
to a little point that you just said right now, um, fuck, I kind of forgot what you said. You said something and kind of went blurred. But with Amanda Serrano and all these other fighters, bro, again, going back to them being more pure and them trying a little harder. You said something that they don't really fight too much with pride or some shit. I think
They
they fight
don't.
much more with pride than male fighters. Like for instance, when I saw Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor in New York, like they fought with so much pride and so much backing. Like they knew the whole world was watching, and they put a hell of a show. When I watched David Benavidez and Caleb Plant, two dudes that actually had true animosity towards one another. Caleb Plant was slapped one of them, Jose, and
Yeah.
they didn't. I mean,
It's
bro,
just.
it was a hug fest. I didn't
I
see
guess
that
it's.
with Amanda and Katie Taylor,
Yeah.
so I gotta like catch you on that and be like, nah, bro, these women fucking fight with more pride. Like, look at Alicia Baumgartner and Michaela Mayer. There was actually disdain towards one another, and these girls are showing out. They're fucking pure, bro. To your point,
Yeah.
there's less champions and female fighters because all of them are undisputed. Clarissa is undisputed in one weight class. There was that Baltimore chick, Frank Sean Cruz. I think she just lost her fight to a draw. I'm not too sure. But
Mhm.
all of these women are undisputed. So there's like, okay, I can, get behind this chick. And male boxing, there's a lot of fuckery. There's a lot of politicking. And in women, nah, they don't have time for that.
Hey,
If
did
I
I
need,
say
if
that?
I
Did
need
I
the
say
bigger
that they don't
pay,
fight with pride?
I think he said something like that. But women fighting, bro, like it's just more pure. Like you said, the best are fighting their best, and they don't make us wait. In male fighting, like man, 4 or 5 years too late just to establish a mega fight, and it's getting
Mhm.
tiresome. And I'm gonna say this, it might be bold, but male boxers, they killed HBO. They killed Showtime. The reason why HBO and Showtime walked away, because at the end of the day, bro, they were fed up with the male fuckery of high purses. No disrespect, but
Mhm.
And I know everyone's having their hustle and everyone's trying to earn bread, and this sport is tough, but life in general is tough. And Riga's program, Devin Haney, that's not a pay-per-view. David Benavidez versus Demetrius Andrade is not a pay-per-view. If Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano wasn't a pay-per-view, and these are chicks that are two-time gold medalists, are undisputed in multiple weight classes, have like fucking 80 fights, one in between the two, right? Because Amanda has like fucking 50 victories,
Mhm.
and that's not on pay-per-view. And these are the two
Um,
best pound for pound women. Why are we getting these other ones on pay-per-view for men? Bro,
I
no
think on
disrespect
draw
to Evan Enriquez, but that's just a
the
regular
other one
fucking
isn't.
fight.
The other one isn't pay per view.
Which one, David and Andre?
Yeah, yeah,
I
that one's
think it
free.
is, bro.
That one's free.
You sure?
I'm checking right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Vince. A salute to you, bro. Hopefully, you're in good spirits and you're having a great October. Vince says, I've never been into women fighters. That's just me. Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie, for the majority of my life, I haven't really been into women's boxing. But the one that I started diving and getting into it heavily was after Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. That was just a great fight in general. One of the most highly anticipated fights, and the chicks delivered, bro. That shit was crazy. Like, that was cool. That was like watching Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti. That was like watching Jose Luis Castillo versus Diego Chico Corrales. Like, that impact, that bravado, that grit, that toughness just to exchange.
Hmm.
Man, like, I don't like that won me over. That was a fight that won me over for women's boxing,
Bro, I
and
remember.
that was cool.
I remember watching that fight, and my uncle was like, one of my uncles was like asking us like, who's winning the fight, and it was like the I think it was like the third or fourth round. It was about four of us, right? That he asked. Like we all had different answers. We said it at the same time. And we're like, fuck. Like, we didn't know who the fuck was winning, but it was a great fight. I would have to say, I remember saying, um, Katie Taylor was like up the first two rounds. But after that, I lost kind of track, bro. I was like, man, these rounds are close. I
Yeah,
I did want I think my mind was going for Serrano, and I felt like I was being too critical of myself. I needed to be like I was going for Serrano so much I needed to check myself, but I was checking
oh,
myself too
okay, I got
much.
you, got you.
I was
Yeah,
checking myself too much, and I was like, well, you know what? Serrano is up right now, and I'm like, I don't, and then they gave it to Taylor, and I'm like, fuck, man, I need to see that again. I need to see
yeah.
that 2 to 3 times.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I agree. I felt like it was kind of like Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. Each round was
man,
competitive, and then like I think the early rounds were kind of close. Maybe Katie landed a punch here or two, and then the middle rounds was clearly Serrano. And I think in the ninth and 10th, Katie edged it away. But each round was competitive except the fifth one, bro. That fifth round was
who
like
to
a
give it to?
10-7, 10-8. Like, that fight could have been stopped right then and there because Amanda might have thrown like 150 punches,
Oh
connected maybe like
yes,
50 of them. Katie Taylor
yeah,
was out and about, and they still
she was
scored
in
a
trouble.
10-9. That was a fucking 10-8. If you're giving
Yeah,
Ryan a 9-9 after being knocked down because Tank only literally landed one punch in that second round, if that's a 9-9, which is a fair scoring, bro, that round in the fifth one was like 10-7. That was like two knockdowns that fucking happened in that round. Like,
yeah,
bro, the way her head was like getting slapped and bobbling, she looked fucking like
you're right,
devastated.
dude. Then Serrano should have fucking won that fight. You know,
Well, I thought it was like, let's say it's 5-5, but that fifth round he scored a 10-8. I think, Shorty from Puerto Rico walks away with them, that strap, but they gave it to Katie Taylor. And, and it's a damn shame that they never really got to rematch one another. I'm not too sure
yeah,
who walked away from what or what
yeah,
exactly happened, but yeah,
the,
that after that performance should have been an instant rematch because,
yeah.
bro,
They,
man, and Katie that night, telling you,
yeah,
bro,
like
wow.
see, I think greed took over that fight, and I think somehow, some way, you know, it fucked it all up. Like it was a woman's fight, and women's fights are usually easy to make, and uh it was like a no-brainer. We're like, dude, like we don't want no other fighter to interrupt their mojo, You know, we don't want them to get uh questionable or like Taylor lost. So it's like fuck, man. So now she's busy with that fight. Like that's a solid reason why they needed to rematch right away. You know,
Yeah,
and it's like, bro, like the hype is still there. It's just not the same anymore. I'm a bet for Amanda Serrano. You know, um,
yeah.
and yeah, dude, like I like what's his name? Inoue and Talapis. Dude, that fight, everyone was like, that fight's gonna happen next. That fight's gonna happen next. And it's like that fight happened next, dude. Like it was
Yeah,
that
it's no
easy.
bullshit. It's
It
just
was
let's get
that
it
easy.
going. It
Yeah.
makes sense. It's for undisputed. Why we have to fucking wait and build it up? Like, nah, it's in
Yeah.
the moment. Yeah, I agree, bro.
That made me want to buy that low fight, that low like, you know, like it's not that much of that low hype fight, you know, like I'm willing to buy that because they were so good at negotiating, you know.
Cool.
Not so good at negotiating, but it
No,
was
but
such an easy
which
fight to
fight?
make. Talapes in a way, but that's not
But I don't.
pay-per-view,
That's
is it?
not gonna be on pay per view here, is it? It'll probably be pay per view in Japan, but I think we'll probably get it here on ESPN Plus, like for the ESPN Plus regular app. You know what I mean?
Then how can I send them money? No, I'm just kidding. But
I
yeah.
think you kind of already are. You know what I'm saying? Just by being a supporter of the Hulu, Disney, ESPN Plus setup. Look, man, let me ask you something. Oh, so I just looked at the Showtime page, and David versus
It is, yeah.
Dimitri Andrade is pay per view. You are getting Jose Benavides versus Jamal Charlo, and I believe they added Rayo Valenzuela versus the rematch with Chris Colbert, which I thought it was a close fight, but a robbery. I thought Rayo easily won. Well, not easily. I thought it was like 6-4 plus a KO plus a knockdown.
Oh, the
But
rematch?
yeah, I believe so. I believe so. I could be wrong, but I would have to look at it. But I'm pretty sure it's all happening in the same night. Look, man,
Wow.
have you had a chance to watch the Ryan Garcia versus Oscar Duarte over there in Houston, Texas? Like the press conference. I guess they had it. They had it today.
No, I haven't. I didn't get to see that today.
Well,
Yeah, I
you
don't
didn't
know what
really
happened.
miss much, man. I'm gonna just kind of like give you the overall gist. You didn't really miss much. It was kind of like blasé. It was just a regular press conference. But the stare down between these two were really nice. And honestly, the big headline out of it was, how like the promoter shakes their hands as they're like, oh, come to the center, and then face off. Oscar Duarte shook Oscar De La Hoya's hand, and Ryan Garcia didn't shake Oscar De La Hoya's hand.
What?
He kind of like just gave him the cold shoulder and started looking at the cameras. Um, so
What?
obviously there's still this separation of powers, separation of like divisiveness between the two, right? So I want to get to a certain point. Um, when I look at Ryan, right? Obviously the kid is a smart kid for his time. I mean, he's not a genius by any stretch of the imagination. He's not an amazing fighter, but he knows how to exploit the circumstances. He knows how to play the game, right? And I feel that Oscar De La Hoya gets too much hate for a lot of great things that he's done for boxing, right? Now, everyone likes to call Floyd Mayweather a genius and that he knows how to make a game. He knows how to play the game, the marketing genius game. But in terms of who's done more for boxing, Oscar De La Hoya, out of all the modern day fighters, has done more for boxing, not just as when he was a fighter, but even as a promoter, right? Not only has he promoted, like, listen, when he was about to retire, he still fought Pacquiao. He came down in weights. He got beat, but he made Pacquiao into a big star, right? That's Manny Pacquiao's favorite fighter, Oscar De La Hoya. And he passed on the torch to Pacquiao, and he also passed on the torch to Floyd Mayweather. He basically was responsible for the next 10 years of fighters, for the next decade of boxing between these two fighters. They started getting popular after they beat Oscar De La Hoya. Obviously, Oscar ended up promoting like 10 or 11 more fights. So he was also responsible for Floyd Mayweather ducking certain fights and fighters. But Oscar also made a powerhouse promotional company, Golden Boy Promotions. Him, Richard Schaefer, and Al Heyman, they were like, bro, they signed Keith Thurman. They had the Charlo brothers. They had Wilder. They gave you Gary Russell versus Lomachenko. They had a lot of fucking amazing fights. He built up Leo Santa Cruz. And a lot of people forget about this. Oscar had out of all the fighters, Golden Boy Promotion is, you know, a top tier promotional company. It's obviously Top Rank, probably Matchroom now, and then Golden Boy. But at one point, it was Top Rank and Golden Boy. Maybe you can say even it is too right now. And obviously, he helped build Canelo Alvarez. So whether Oscar is a cokehead and he has all these shenanigans, he's done so much for the sport of boxing. He's given back more to the sport of boxing than any other other boxer. This was all before social media as well. Right? This dude was a fucking star. He won a gold medal for Team USA, probably Andre Ward after the fact. But even then, there's just a little like scope of won a gold medal and representing Team USA. Let alone fighters that probably grossed out more than $1 billion and has a top tier promotional company. That's Oscar De La Hoya, right? Not even Floyd Mayweather has. Like when you look at Floyd Mayweather promotions, they don't really have nobody, right? They're trying to build up Carmel Moulton. At one point, they had Tank Davis. But even how like Ryan wants to leave Golden Boy, Tank Davis parted ways with Floyd Mayweather. So what I'm trying to say is Oscar knows what the fuck he's doing. He knows how to play the game. He knows the sport of boxing, and he's responsible basically for the faces of boxing that are dominating the sport in the past 10 years. It's all tied down to Oscar De La Hoya. The reason I preface all that shenanigans is because Ryan is very ungrateful, right?
Mhm.
He don't want to shake Oscar De La Hoya's hand because Oscar De La Hoya wasn't, you know, in the post-fight presser after he got knocked out by Tank Davis. Oscar was nowhere to be seen, right? Look in the background, there was only one representative, which was the president, Eric Gomez, for Golden Boy Promotions. But Oscar wasn't there. To be honest, I was looking back at the archives, and Oscar sometimes attends the post-fight pressers. He was there in the post-fight between Danila and Canelo Alvarez, but he's not always there. Hell, you know, Oscar, because he's fighting his own demons, he wasn't even in attendance when Canelo fought Floyd in the ringside in that fight. So there's sometimes that Oscar is nowhere to be found. But Ryan took that as disrespect, right? Like he wanted to part ways. And then there was that back and forth interaction that the whole world saw on Twitter between Ryan and fucking Oscar.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
when Ryan posted a picture with Floyd?
yeah, that was like these little. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like all that interaction. I think we talked
That
about
was
this
funny.
in the past, so I'm just trying to give it like a quick little
Uh-huh.
walkthrough.
Yep.
And so I preface all this because Ryan is ungrateful, bro. And I hope that Oscar De La Hoya learns from his Canelo Alvarez mistake is that these fighters will eventually leave you. So it is up to Oscar to, again, know how to play the game. Because the way I look at Ryan is like the Kim Kardashian of boxing. Like the way Kim Kardashian used Kanye West, who was very reputable and had access to a lot of like people in higher power. Like he gave Kim Kardashian access to those people, right? Because Kanye, like, bro, let's say Jay-Z and Rockefeller Records, like Kanye is like a musical genius. And a lot of people respect Kanye. So when obviously he married you know, Kim K, and you know, like, bro, she's nothing but a glorified hoe type of shit. She's been with like Reggie Bush and all these fucking athletes, married like done 4 or 5 times. You know, when Kanye married her, whether it was like a business to promote his Yeezy's brand or whatever the fuck it was, like she started getting access to like top tier clothing lines and people in the music, right? Because Kanye is a music mogul. Like that dude's fucking amazing, bro. Especially his early works. Same thing with Ryan Garcia. This is what I'm talking about, being ungrateful. Oscar knows all the powers that be in boxing. The Peter Nelsons of HBO, the Steven Espinosas. And he basically, you know, nurtured and built up Ryan. Sure, Ryan had the new fan base, but he didn't have like the old folk, so to speak, right? He didn't have the sources. He didn't have the access to. Maybe Ryan would have gotten it, but Oscar, that's the pull because Oscar knows the business. And this is what I'm talking about. How Ryan is just like, I feel like he's still like a little bitch, bro. Like straight up, you know what I mean? Like a little kid. And so hopefully Oscar the Lawyer understands that, like, bro, I can use Ryan to like get Teofimo Lopez to sign with Golden Boy Promotions. I could use Ryan to, let's say, try to pull Devin Haney from Eddie Hearn and make a mega fight. I can use Ryan to get all these big fights to sign with Golden Boy. Because when Canelo walked away, he could have kept Jermell Charlo. He could have kept Jamal Charlo. But since he never gave them those big fights or access to Canelo, those dudes walked away and went with PBC. I don't know, bro. I'm just kind of rambling on about here. There's not like a big ultimate thesis. But what's your take on this little beef that Ryan has with Oscar? Te estás cagando, güey. Hey, Drew, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, what the hell? Yeah, I was trying to do something else and talk to you at the same time.
Okay, no worries, bro.
Not,
Did you hear
not.
what I said?
Yeah, I heard all that. So yeah, now I don't know, they make each other rich, so I don't know what the problem is, but I think it's awesome. I think it's not a play for for the media. I think they're just trying to create more buzz. They're trying to create like it's it's his team versus his team. It's Oscar versus Garcia. Like I think they really did that to actually like to promote a fight. Honestly, like I feel like it's they have already signed the contract. At this point, they don't need to like beef any further. They can talk about whatever they got going on, like contract wise, like after the fight. Like they're I think they know exactly what they're doing as far as like you know doing the little things like that. Like they shook their hands. I'm pretty sure they shook hands after they signed the contract. Like so I think that's all that matters. After that, it's kind of like it's their like them not shaking hands. That's their narrative, that they want us to. They did a good job of doing that, creating that narrative. If if it wasn't genuine, but if it was genuine, then yeah, I don't know. Then it's not too big of a deal because Oscar's not fighting. They're just trying to make this fight a bigger deal. And make some kind of beef happen because it's not a big fight, bro. It's not gonna. Wait, it's not. Is it pay per view?
Nah, I
The
don't.
okay, it's not okay. They're just trying to get more. I feel like I think they talk so much, they're bound to talk again. They have to talk again. So at this point, they're just being cordial with each other at the least. All the other stuff, it's like, oh yeah, I just seen that right
You
now.
see that?
Nah, I don't. I think he genuinely missed that. I think he genuinely missed that, bro. Like, Oscar kind of patted him, like, you know, he patted him on the chest. He patted him on the chest, and it was like, it's all good. Like, I don't. Nah, I think there are people are taking this out of context.
All right,
I'm
so
looking at
I feel you. I feel you. So this is where I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna say like I'm gonna look at it like this, right? Because this is all cheese, man, bro. This is
it's
like
good clickbait. Good clickbait.
it's cheese, man. But I'm gonna put it to you like this. I don't think they're cordial with one another, bro. Like I think Oscar the Lawyer had to sue Ryan and let him know it's like, bro, you're still with me. We signed a contract before the Tank Davis fight. And the way I look at it right now with Oscar, when he didn't attend the post fight presser when Tank knocked him out, was because it's like this. Oscar was teaching Ryan Garcia a lesson. Kind of like if your father is giving you his wisdom, his opinion, and giving you advice, right? And tutelage, and he's taking you under his wing, basically for all 18 years of your life. And then you start giving your father some resistance, right? You don't listen to him as much. So your father is gonna let you swim on your own. He's gonna be like, all right, something's gonna happen that I told you, and then you're gonna be like, yeah, you were right, Dad. That's that moment that's happening right here. Oscar's like, see, you try to take a shortcut. We had an outline fight. Luke Campbell, Joe Javier Fortuna, 2 southpaws. Then you're gonna fight Mercito in January. Then Jojo Diaz, all southpaws. Then you're gonna fight your test in Zepeda. Jojo is gonna be a test. So is Mercito. And if you beat these guys and you knock them out, then you're ready for Tank. That's 5 or 6 southpaws. Ryan was like, nah. I want Tank. I want that mega fight. And he just disregarded all the information, everything that Oscar De La Hoya knows. He was like, bro, you're not ready yet. And Ryan was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take it. I walked out of that fight one time before, said I was gonna fight Pacquiao. I'm gonna just do it on my own. So he did. He went against Oscar De La Hoya, essentially. He signed this ridiculous rehydration clause, meeting at a catchweight at 136. Boom. Get knocked down in the second round, and then you quit by a badass body shot in the 7th. If I'm Oscar, I'm like, I told you. But you wanted to listen to your lawyer, Valencia, or whatever his name is, and that's what you get. I think that's kind of like the thing that's happening. So, like, for example, right? It happens to everybody that's young. Right? Fuck it, whatever. My nephew ended up winning a boxing match, his first fight, right? And he thought he was the best. You thought he was the shit. And I told him, bro, you got to correct this looping 1-4 that you're throwing in the center of the ring because you're losing off balance. He didn't want to listen. So we didn't hit mitts for like, I don't know, to his next fight. We go to his second fight, I don't know, fucking somewhere 4 hours away or some bullshit. And he loses. And one of the reasons he got dropped, he got back up instantly and he still fought good, but he got discouraged was because he didn't want to correct that 1-4, that loop in 1-4. Same thing with Ryan. Like, you got to learn on your own. And then eventually be like, bro, I tried to avoid this moment, but you thought you knew it all. So then regain yourself. Figure it out all on your own. And Ryan is still a little salty about it. Because Oscar knows, like, bro, I've been trying to tell you. So it's just one of those things that everyone, you get a little big-headed, right? And you think like, oh, man, I'm $40 million richer, which is amazing, right? Like, Ryan can essentially retire from the sport of boxing. But it's like, 40 million is amazing. But you maybe, if you stick to our path, you might become a $1 billion fighter. Right? 40 million is fucking amazing. $1 billion is the stars. It's the moon. Then says Ryan may have missed his handshake gesture by its split second. It was close, but I don't think he's seen it. I would say yes. I understand what you're saying, but let's look at it again. All right, this is all cheese, man, bro. This is nonsense. This don't matter. He did miss it, but he looked at Oscar, but he didn't really make eye contact with Oscar. See, he turns around and looks at him, and then he quickly turns away to his right, rather than waiting to shake his hand. Like, if I'm making eye contact with you or I turn to face you, he just turned and looked away instantly. Watch, just look at this.
There we go. Bring everybody up for their final pictures. Again, December 2nd, live on The Zone, you will see Ryan Garcia and Oscar Duarte. One more round of applause. Everybody shut up here at the top. We'll see Ryan pictures. Bringing boxing to Houston, Texas. There we go.
I mean, maybe he might have missed it, but
I didn't see it, bro.
Ryan knows how to play the game, bro. I know what he was doing. Like, he turned boom, boom, boom instantly, and he just avoided the handshake. So like, if Ryan wants to play the game like, oh, Oscar wasn't there, he wasn't there in my post fight when I needed him the most, when I'm at my lowest. Bro, you just burned all the bridges all over again. Had you just waited, made eye contact like you did, and stayed there and offered your hand, now you put the pressure on Oscar to shake your hand back. But he instantly turned his face to look at the other way, again, being dismissive. And there's that division. So, again, like, Ryan, if he's going to complain about, like, bro, you got to complain about that handshake too. You left Oscar hanging twice. He tapped you on the shoulder. He still had his hand out there. And Oscar Duarte You know what I mean? He was there shaking Oscar's hand, but you weren't there, Ryan. You see what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
can't give him a pass.
No, I don't think. I think there's not a lot of stuff to talk about. So this is the stuff that they made up. You know, the media, bro. That. I didn't see that up until right now, man. And that's my fresh like thoughts when I first seen that. I'm like, that seems so genuine. Like
Yeah.
because Ryan Ryan don't do that slick shit. He's not that slick. You know, he's not slick enough to do some disrespectful shit like that. You know, it's really Tank that would do some shit like that. Like, yeah, I didn't shake your hand on purpose, bro. Like, Ryan don't come with that energy, bro. Like, I think I just don't think he can fully beef with Oscar De La Hoya. You know, he says what he means, but it's because it has to do with his money, with his livelihood. You know,
Nah,
I think
this is that moment. You know when Jake Paul met Floyd Mayweather and he was like, "Got your hat."
you said Jake Paul left Mayweather.
No. Do you remember when he met him? Remember that moment where he's like, "Got your hat," and then like Floyd threw a
Mm.
punch and hit him?
No, he didn't. Dude, you're falling for that too?
No,
Oh
no, no.
my
But
God.
do you remember that instance though?
It wasn't a real punch.
Okay, it wasn't a real punch, but do you remember that moment where like Jake was like, "Oh, I got your hat,"
Yeah, it was nothing
and
serious
then
about
like
it.
you saw Floyd Mayweather with his beard and hair was kind of like not all lined up, and it was like all funny. It was one of those like childish moments. Is what I'm talking about.
Is that
Like
what
this
you're trying to
moment is
compare this
like,
to?
bro, like if you want to bury the beef with Oscar the lawyer, just shake his hand and just be like, all right, bro, let's move forward.
I think I, like
So
that's
you think Ryan is promoting this fake beef between Oscar going back and forth just
well,
because there's nothing to talk about?
not after I said that before I seen that video. Not anymore.
Okay. The
Not
reason, right,
anymore.
check this out. In another interview, they asked Ryan about it. They actually asked Ryan about it. Hold on, let me see. They asked Ryan about that instance, like, how's he feeling about, the Oscar lawyer situation and is the beef squashed? And Ryan basically said, you know what? I don't really think about it. I don't know which video it is because these videos are like 10 to 20 minutes long. So I haven't really I don't want to interject too much. But I'm gonna say this. This is like a little childish thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you about. So
Like in what manner though?
Ryan is not clever to just fabricate a beef with Oscar the lawyer just to boost up the ratings. I don't think he's clever enough to do that. I
Not
think this is
anymore.
genuine. I feel like he really wants to leave Golden Boy. Golden Boy sued him or sent him like a cease and desist letter. Like, you can't be talking to the ops, because you got to honor your contract. And Ryan's like, well, let me buy it out. And Oscar's like, no, I want you to honor the contract. And he's like, all right, fine. Who do you want to fight? Right. And then Oscar was like, I have these fighters. So the fight that they're trying to build is Ryan Garcia versus Teofimo Lopez. Right. And the reason why they're putting him up against this guy named Oscar Duarte is if you look at Oscar Duarte and if you read some of his comments and you go on not boxing scene, but BoxRec, he's basically coming off 11 wins, right? All by knockout. But if you look at those names, you can't even really recognize any one of those names, right? Like his last fight, he fought a guy named D'Angelo Keys, who was 17-2. Maybe he might be good, right? I think that fight was on DAZN. You look at the rest of his BoxRec, he fought in March against this guy named Alex Martin, 18-4. In December, he fought Javier Franco, 35-24. Mark Bernaldez, 23-5. Fernando Daniel Cancino, 11-9. So these are the guys that Duarte is knocking out. Basically, not even journeymen because, he's just fighting guys with losing records, essentially. That's who he's knocking out. So if you look at the comments, look at the propaganda. Oscar's putting you up with someone with 11 knockouts in a row. Imagine that. What are you trying to insinuate? Have you checked his resume of who he's fought? He's not even fought one top contender. So it's kind of like, a lot of these up and coming fighters, that fight like journeymen or backroom ballrooms in Tijuana and are just getting knockouts. Like Angel Chavez, he's fighting this Friday, and Amanda Serrano's undercard, and he's fighting guys with pot bellies and, you know what I mean, like the guys that hadn't even been dedicated to the gym to lose weight. So that's who Duarte's knocking out. And Duarte is like 23 years old. So
Yeah,
yes, he does have 11 knockouts, but he hadn't been in there with a Luke Campbell. He hasn't been in there with a Javier Fortuna. So this is like the moon. This fight, Duarte versus Ryan Garcia, is the moon for Duarte's career. And the only reason he's got those 11 knockouts, or why even Ryan's fighting him, is because Oscar is short and stocky, and he looks to be very powerful. Short and stocky like Teofimo Lopez. But see, the difference is you can't compare Oscar Duarte versus Teofimo because he don't have a Lomachenko. He don't have a Josh Taylor. He don't even have a Sander Martin on his resume. So I'm not saying Oscar Duarte can knock out Ryan Garcia. I'm just saying put some respect in terms of who Ryan has fought, like Luke Campbell. I don't know if Duarte would be able to knock him out or beat him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Vince says Ryan may have missed his handshake gesture by a split second. It was close, but I don't think he's seen it. Yeah, possibly. I hear you. He knows that handshakes are coming for sure. Promoters do shake hands. Thinking of Marv Nation and what he does, I have to check when Marvin does it when he promoted the Vargas Bros. Yeah, I would have to look at it as well. But it's just like tradition that every fighter just like, hey, thank you. I'm grateful for putting on this event. But yeah, why did T. Lopez announce he was retiring? Was that not true, or did he change his mind after Lopez beat Josh Taylor on Max After Boxing? Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I think Teofimo Lopez was really sick and tired of two things. One is his pay. I think he said he still got paid $1 million or under $1 million, and he's taking on tough ass fights and fighters, right? And he was a little disappointed that he was still making less money than these fighters that are taking less risks than him, right? Even fighting a Sander Martin, he probably got paid under $1 million. For Josh Taylor, maybe 1.5, right? Maybe even less. So I think that was one of the things that he was really concerned about. He was like, damn, bro, I'm doing the proper things in boxing, but I'm not getting rewarded. Right? We just saw Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis, and they did astronomical numbers. And Teofimo Lopez is like, I'm fighting all these real life killers, but I'm not getting rewarded as such. And then he was trying to figure out his life, post a divorce and all the settlements or all the percentages. And he was like, you know what? Let me just like clear out my mind and just open up this gym in Florida. I think that's what he was really like, he was bugging out about. He's just like, fuck, man.
Well, I think he needed to. I think.
What you think?
I think he has enough money to. I see. That's the thing. Like us as fans, we think money's the money solution, or the solution to everything. But it's a family matter thing, bro. Like it's like trying to leave that toxic person out of your life. And they're the reason why you came up. And that's most of us. I feel like that's the answer or the key to success right there, is leaving that toxic environment. And I feel like, how do I even get to this? Man. um yeah, I forgot how I even got to this. um yeah, he has enough money to make changes
Yeah.
mentally. So I think he needs to, he needed to do whatever he needed to do. But staying in the gym should have been number one, just because he made a commitment by paying that fee. That fee, the fee you have for every belt. Like, he made that fee. You don't make that fee, you're no longer champ. And
Oh yeah, the sanctioning body fee. But I think
yes.
the Josh Taylor belt, I think there was only the WBO belt on the line, and I
No, he's on
believe
the
Dougie Fisher said the ring and the lineal belt, the fighters don't pay no money for it.
but why did it say undisputed championship?
Wait, for the Josh Taylor fight?
Yeah, undisputed.
Because like Josh Taylor's still undisputed. Like I know like Matias Subriel Matias has one of the belts, the IBF belt, after he knocked out Jeremiah Sponce.
Mhm.
I know that Rolly Romero fucking is a champion, but none of those guys beat the guy. You know, Josh Taylor is still the guy. So yeah, you
So
can
he
strip my
didn't.
belts. You can give it to Reggie Regis. You can give it to these guys, but I'm still the dude at 140. I beat all them dudes essentially. And even though they're
But
not
he
going to
didn't.
give Theo the undisputed status, he stole lineal ring and WBO champ. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I guess that it should have. Yeah, that's false advertisement then, because it should have been and everyone keeps saying 2-time undisputed like Terrence, and that kind of throws everything off, right? So if somebody says Teal's a 2-time undisputed, should I say that what you just said right now?
Wait,
Like,
my
no,
bad.
that's
Say it again.
false. Like, no, like, what you just said right now, with the whole belt thing. If someone says Teal's a 2-time undisputed champ, not the 2-time he beat two undisputed champs. He beat 2 champs that had 4 belts and beat him
Well,
for it.
look, if you're asking my opinion, yeah, Teofimo Lopez is a 2-time undisputed champion. When
Why?
he beat Lomachenko, all the belts were on the line, right?
Okay.
Some people
What
would be like,
about
well, Loma was a franchise because he didn't beat Devin Haney, bro. That's the politics that I'm talking about, that
okay?
women
But what
boxing
about
don't deal with it. So in my eyes, that fight was undisputed because undisputed
the
trumps
Loma fight?
mandatories and all the belts. So when Teo beat Loma, Teo became undisputed. When Teo lost to Cambosis was undisputed. So forth and so on. When Devin beat Cambo, he was undisputed, whatever. At 140, again, when you said something about like having to pay all the sanctioning fees, Josh Taylor couldn't fight all those mandatories after he lost. Well, they gave him the decision against Jack Catterall. So he couldn't fight Subriel Matias because if he fought him, he was going to lose or get shredded by Regis Prograis. If he fought Regis, then he was going to lose the IBF, the WBO, and the WBA, whatever. So what he did was like, you know what, I'm not paying all those fees. But again, they should have given Josh Taylor that respect because of the hard work and beating all those undefeated champions. I mean, if you add all of Josh Taylor's fights and record, bro, there were like 210 wins to like 1 loss. That's incredible. So they should have
it's
given
false
him that respect,
advertisement.
and Teo should have fought him for all the belts, but they stripped him, and Teo didn't become 2-time undisputed. You know what I mean? But he's ringing.
So it's a lie. That whole thing is a lie. Teal being undisputed.
I don't think it's a lie, but if you're not going to coin him undisputed in either or, he's a 2-time
Did he get a copy?
ring and lineal at 135 and at 140 because he beat the guy. He beat
Let me ask you
Loma,
this then.
and then he also beat Josh. Yep.
Let me ask you this then. Does he have the copy of the belts? Did he receive them?
Yeah, for sure. But not like he has. So what happens is this.
Yes or no?
Well, they don't give you the original belt. They give you like
but
an authentic replica of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did he get those? All 4
He
of them?
got those for the Lomachenko, and then he got the WBO after beating
So he
Josh.
didn't.
He didn't get all those belts at WBO.
Wow.
Or like the IBF, WBC, WBA.
This whole time I thought he was 2-time undisputed champ.
I think he's a 2-time undisputed champ.
I don't think so anymore.
On paper, it would be a 2-time lineal ring magazine champion fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm so
It's
confused
complicated,
now.
bro. It's fucking messy. That's what I dislike about it. But Teofimo Lopez is the best at 140 because he beat the best 140 fighter.
I feel so lied to.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And that's why HBO and Showtime left, because this whole time it's been a fucking lie.
All right, let me go back to this
male
then.
boxers ruined, broadcasting, bro.
Teal's not a Hall of Famer then.
The best, and when you do fight the best, you butt on stinkers. Male boxing destroyed fucking male fighters destroyed boxing, bro.
Teo is not a Hall of Famer then, bro.
No, Teo's a Hall of Famer, bro.
He is not.
Wow.
I think I take that back.
Teo is probably one of the only fighters that has beaten 2 legit pound for pound fighters in today's modern era. You know,
I'm glad you said that instead of undisputed.
Yeah, because he beat Josh Taylor, who was arguably a top 5 pound for pound fighter. Lomachenko was arguably top 10 and top 5 pound for pound, and Teo beat him. Even Bud
I hate
Crawford
that.
probably only has Errol Spence, who was like in the top 10, and maybe at the time Yuriki's Gamboa. You can probably add him at the time because he was pretty fucking bad when Terrence Bud Crawford knocked him out. You know what I mean?
Man.
Canelo Alvarez, I think, maybe Canelo. He fought and beat Triple G, and then Jermell Charlo was also a top 10 because he was undisputed too. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I feel like
he
my
was up there,
girlfriend
bro.
cheated on me or
Canelo is a
something.
little, he a Hall of Famer, bro, for sure.
I feel cheated and lied to.
That's how Showtime and HBO, that's why they left, bro. Because this whole time, they're like, bro, we're paying these fighters so much money. We don't
Like they're
get
this
no
and that.
kickback in return. They're not getting the ROI, the return of investment backs, and they're like, to hell with you guys. And now these boxers are like, oh, man.
Hey, so
And they should be. They should fucking be panicking, bro. Because the sport that we know is forever gone.
who should be panicking? Like the fighters?
He's gone. Larry Merchant, Max Kellerman, HBO Face Off, 24/7, All Access, gone.
Yeah. Like I think there's still. Yeah, you're right. It's more of a Wild West now.
And the zone is not the answer. The reason I know the zone is not the answer, they're giving us Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis, a regular fight on pay-per-view. And hopefully they take that pay-per-view status away, mainly because Floyd Mayweather is going to fight on the same date, and they're going to give us Keith Thurman versus Iamanta Stanionis.
Right.
So hopefully that clears Eddie Hearn and his fucking brain. Be like, oh, man, sorry, guys. This is just a regular fight. Because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So you're going to order that fight instead? Or which one are you going to order?
If there's Keith Thurman versus Iamanta Stanionis, I'm going to get the fucking Floyd Mayweather charade, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no disrespect, but Devin and Regis is a regular fight. It's a regular good fight. It's quality fight, but it's not $80 worth of pay-per-view or $60 or whatever. Like, what the fuck?
Did you hear anything on that? Like, did you hear why Floyd did that? Or was it kind of like was it a personal thing? Or was it kind of like...
Yeah, it's personal. It's absolutely personal. Floyd did the same thing to Teofimo Lopez. Floyd wants to show that, bro, because, he wanted to sign Devin Haney. He wanted to sign Shakur Stevenson. And these guys actually listen to either their fathers or to their advisors. And they're like, bro, Floyd is going to essentially, you're going to be under his shadow rather than be your own man. And Shakur and Devin, right, they walked away from Floyd. And, hey, they look up to you, but we're not going to sign under you. So they want to do their own individual things. And this is Floyd Mayweather be like, all right, I'm going to get you guys back in one way because I'm still. You know what I mean?
That's why Floyd talks the way he does. He talks like he's still competing, and in reality, he is.
He's absolutely competing, bro. When Canelo beat Jermell Charlo, he interrupted Canelo's night, and for like 15 minutes, he put on Carmel Morton. Did you see that interview?
Mm-hmm.
No, or like that post-fight presser, like they interrupted that press and put Carmel Morton. If I'm Canelo, I'm like, hey, get the fuck out of here. This is my night. What are you doing?
Yeah.
No disrespect, 17-year-old kid, but
no,
time is not now. And
Floyd,
I
didn't know that.
Full still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's smart. Like Floyd said this once. He said, there's money on the table. Don't leave money on the table. And that I feel like Devin is kind of taking money from the table that's not there, and he needed to do it out of pay-per-view and kind of I agree, bro. Like Floyd is definitely telling Devin, by doing that pay-per-view, he's telling Devin, come on, bro, do better. He's telling him step it up, pretty much, and pretty much saying, don't lie, don't cheat these these fans, like stop cheating these fans, and I'll treat these fans better if you don't, type of thing, so props to Floyd. It kind of makes me look at him not differently, but like he has every right to talk the way he does. He does sound arrogant, like, oh, I predicted this, I predicted that, and I'm predicting Carmelo Moen. It sounds kind of arrogant, but now you see now I see, at least I see, I see the intentions. I see, he's being genuine. He's not being a hater. and he's actually putting his, because he's not just talking like shit. It's follow through with action. So he used to, when I was younger, he used to come off as arrogant and doesn't really prove much. But now, even as a retired boxer, still fighting, he's proving the public why he's still king of boxing. So the face of boxing, at least. So which is arguable, but yeah, no, dude, that's crazy, bro. Floyd is a marketing genius and happens to be one of the best boxers of all time. And it's hard to keep both. You're getting punched in the face. That's why boxers just come off as arrogant, because it's just they're living they're not civilized yet. So Floyd is able to be civilized after a war, years of wars. Props to him. It's hard to keep a level-headed mind after being the greatest of all time. Usually it gets to your head, but this man
Yeah,
is
he's not the
giving
greatest of all time, bro. He's not even close.
one of them. Well, I mean, the numbers
I'll
wise,
give
I'm
him
trying to
this.
give him props.
He's the
I'm trying to give
greatest.
him props. I'm trying to give
Yeah, no,
props.
no. I mean, yeah, he got my respect, but I'm saying like he's the greatest defensive fighter of all time, but he ain't the greatest of all time, bro.
But he's giving back to the people. Is what I'm trying to say. He's giving
Who,
back to the
Floyd?
people. He doesn't need to fight. He's bringing people
Wait,
that we
Floyd?
want to see. Huh?
He never gave it to the people, bro.
No, no, he's giving back to the people right now, at least. With Danny Garcia Thurman, you know, if that fight goes through,
No,
like
it'll
he'll
be
definitely.
Thurman versus Stanionis. I think Danny Garcia versus Erislandy Lara. I don't really know, bro. The way I
I
look at it
think
is like,
we're also toxic as a community, bro. I think
well, no, listen. When it comes down to Floyd and his exhibitions, I think one of the things that the reason he's doing these exhibitions is obviously he's getting paid by the promotional companies. But going back to when it was his moment, he always had fights in Las Vegas. And I heard in an interview, one of the reasons why he's doing these exhibitions is because now he's traveling and fighting across the seas. He had a fight in Japan, he had a fight in all these places, and he always wanted to fight in England, probably China, the Philippines. But because he had a lot of pull and money, and he already knew all the people in Las Vegas that were going to side with him, he made sure all his faculties, quote unquote, were checked. These exhibitions, since they don't really go to his record, for the people that always wanted to see him fight, now he's trying to reach global markets, which he should have done when he was in his moment and his element. But again, going back to his pull that he had in Las Vegas and where he lived in the casinos, giving him all this back end money, he stayed where he was most comfortable. So that's one of the reasons. Like honestly, like if I lived in Japan and I always wanted to see Floyd Mayweather and he's fighting like one of our local wrestling champions, I'm gonna go watch it. Like, bro, like what the fuck? But the reality is that that's just kind of what it is. But if Floyd Mayweather were able to use his platform that he has now, right, and he was able to be the main event on an exhibition, but give us Keith Thurman versus Iamanta Stanionis, Boots Ennis versus, let's say, Rashidi Ellis, Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence, to just say, and have those on the undercards to give these fighters exposure, I'm going to be like, now he's giving back. But just the fact that, like, he's doing exhibitions, that ain't giving back. You know what I mean? But yeah, Floyd
So what do
Mayweather.
you think? What do you think of it as then? Is it a genius? A genius move? A dick move? What is it?
Well, I think it's a genius move if he's trying to build up like Iamanta Stanionis and like Boots Ennis and have him fight under his exhibition. I think that's genius.
Isn't that
That's
giving back as
essentially
well?
what Jake Paul did when he had the co-main event being Amanda Serrano, and then he gave a cut of his purse to her. That's genius. That's very honorable. That's like, wow, bro, very charitable, But if
Isn't
he's
Floyd
just
doing that?
but if he's trying to do that just to dick Devin Haney, I'm gonna just be like, damn, bro, you're just a snake.
No. What if he's What if he's doing that to give back and say,
But
hey,
what do you
there's
mean by
money on the
that?
table.
Like what do you mean by
Giving back to the fighters, giving back to the public at the same time. These guys want to get paid a certain way, and this is the only way they're going to get paid under a Floyd Mayweather undercard. That's giving back.
I mean, I don't know. I can't really answer you. I can't answer that question. Like, I hope he gives back. I mean, Floyd. I don't know. I can't speak for
Yeah, I
Floyd.
don't know. I'm not gonna give him too much credit.
Yeah, I can't speak about his intentions, but one of the things that I know is he's making a pull and letting Devin know is like, bro, I'm gonna take over that date that you want to fight December 3rd or the 9th. I'm fighting on that. Sayonara. I'm gonna steal your pay-per-view buys because I'm gonna put Thurman versus Diamante Stanionis. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's giving back in that sense because he could have fought on a Friday or a Sunday but he fought the same day as Devin Haney. And
I can't say that either.
well,
how? Why couldn't he fight? Why would he fight on a Friday?
Because
Thursday?
there's precedent. Like, he did that against Teofimo Lopez when he was supposed to fight on Triller. And he was like, now I'm going to fight in that same day. And then they rescheduled the whole fight for Teofimo like 2-3 times because Floyd just
Triller.
kept him.
But Triller doesn't exist. I think they're like under a lawsuit now. I think that's different circumstances.
Do you think Ramos can last the distance? Which Ramos? Like, which Ramos? Like, who you talking about? No, the girl or not the girl. My bad. May Fox on the chat. They're saying, do you think Ramos can last the distance? You know which Ramos she's talking about, Drew?
I don't know. It sounds like a joke, but Danila.
Oh, Danila Ramos, the girl that's fighting Amanda Serrano, I believe.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah,
I have to see more on Dalino. I have to see more on Dalino, but
Dalina.
Serrano, I'm gonna just say she's too much of a dog. She comes with flurry of punches. I can't just say that she will or she won't. So I'll give Danila that. I gotta look at it. She earned her shot though. She got this fight for a reason, So someone that that feeds Serrano has to have come with something, So we'll see. I mean, this undercard. Have you seen the undercard? Or you told me? You already told me.
Well, the undercard, I don't know too much of it, but I know Angel Chavez out of San Jose Salinas. He's gonna be fighting on it. Danila, she's pretty good, but Carvajal gave her a really good fight. I mean, she's a good boxer, but I don't know. I think really highly of Amanda Serrano. I mean,
hey, it's your title, dude. I didn't know that. It's your title.
Yeah, that's who Danila Ramos is fighting.
I know.
Yeah.
We're talking about
when she said Ramos, I was still thinking about that guy that lost to Erickson Lubin for some reason.
Oh, I mean, yeah. That's all I was like.
Hey, Drew, you're gonna have to hold it down, bro. I'm gonna just clean up my area real quick, but I'll hop in a bit. Just hold it down, bro.
All right, man. Oh man, I'm not good at this.
Just blabber on anything that you know, bro.
God damn it. Hold on. But yeah, no, man, I've been so away from boxing for a while. You guys are updating me, a lot of shit has been going on, so it's like this was supposed to be a spontaneous, real quick one, So yeah, man, it's tough, man. It's tough, I still got to finish up setting my iPhone. Yeah, man. Can't be doing this to me, man. My bad, bro.
Hey, yo, guys. I'm not even too sure they can hear me.